would say that OSU is at almost that perfect spot of being big enough to get really good research projects, but not too big to where you can't get into them. So you can get involved in so many different types of research that at other schools you wouldn't be able to get into, but you can still do research that's going to be published and that is actually a really big deal.
Growing up, I always had a strong interest in genetics for personal reasons, but I also have always had a passion for agriculture. And so I wanted to stick with both of them and kind of combine the two, which is why I decided to go into animal science. I found out about the University Freshman Research Scholar Program, and I applied for it in March. And going into it, I knew that Oklahoma State had undergraduate research opportunities, but an opportunity as a freshman really kind of influenced and kind of made me excited to come here more.
I really decided on the animal science field just because it is such a broad field. I honestly didn't really know what specific thing I wanted to do, wanted to go into. So I did choose animal science just because that's what I grew up with, that's what I grew up doing, and it's something I want to continue to do. And I know that it's a major that can lead me down so many different career pathways. Coming into college, I didn't know hardly anything about undergraduate research. Until I started taking a couple classes and started meeting some upperclassmen who would always tell me about their projects. They'd always be saying all this cool stuff that they're going to do, and I just asked them, I said, how can I get involved in this? You sound like this is something you're so passionate about. I want something like that. So whenever I grew up and I would always think of research, I would always think of just being in a really hardcore lab, a bunch of different chemicals, you don't really know what's going on. It didn't really sound like that it was a thing for me. But since getting involved in research, I've now just realized that there's so many different applications to research. There's so many different ways to research.
Everyone in the lab here is like family, between my graduate mentor, Kelsey, the other undergrads that work in here, either this year, past years, as well as some of the other PhD students. The visiting scholars definitely have made a bunch of friends.
I would say one of the most beneficial connections that I've made through doing research is meeting other people who are just as passionate about something as I am. Just getting to hear what they hope to do and where they hope to take it, I always find so interesting, just because almost every time it's a way that I haven't even thought of that you can take research.
People you work with, whether graduate students, other undergrads, or even like the faculty, are really invested in what you're doing and want to help you learn.
One day I could be in a meat science lab seeing how pH affects meat color, and the next day I could be in a feedlot seeing how different cattle handle temperatures, and it's all research. So I just found that just because you aren't interested in the super science side of research, or you're not interested in wearing the white lab coat and being inside all day, it doesn't mean you can't be in love with research. It just means that you just haven't found the right research for you. And it's definitely showed me that there's so many different ways to be a cowboy.